all these collections I've bought, I've bought Beta Moxes, Beta Black Lotuses. You just don't see the Beta Dual Lands, so I don't know where they are. I think it's a card that's like hoarded by somebody. That people are hoarding them, and they just don't ever come on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those cards where I'd love to get my hands on some Beta Dual Lands because I love the Dual Lands. I think that I grew up, I played it because I'm in 19. So Wizards of the Coast is basically located where in our area. So Magic was huge here when I was growing up. So when I moved to Washington State from Minnesota when I was in 8th grade, so that was in 1994, a year after Magic started, basically. So I remember buying revised packs, for $2-3 and cracking them out. So I was
Can you imagine?
right in that range, right in that age
Mm-hmm.
range where we had all that stuff. We saw Beta Black Lotuses for $300, and I was like, "Holy cow, $300 for a Magic card? Who would ever think to buy that? They're
Oh
crazy."
man,
So
you guys are
yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
exactly. So,
Well,
but for Magic, we just don't have a lot of it around right now. We try to get it, but the problem is like it's kind of all been absorbed in collections. So there's not like this like with Pokemon where a guy just bought it all and sat on it and didn't do anything with it. There's not a lot of that in Magic. I mean, you find those deals occasionally, but like they're so few and far between.
And
Um,
yeah.
this summer, when I was going to these shops this summer, I'd go into these comic shops or card shops or trade, gaming stores, whatever you want to call them. There's just tons of different places we stopped. I'd go in there and I'd say, what do you want for your whole display case of Pokemon, right? And then they would say, $1,800, and there's a couple Charizards in there. There's a couple,
Nice.
maybe first edition card or two, and I'd say yes. If somebody had Pokemon, we left their establishment with all the Pokemon because we believed in it going up at a rapid rate before most people were on this train. So like in June, as early as June, we were like, hey, this is going to get big right now. So we were
Mm-hmm.
buying it in those kind of quantities. But I do the same thing with Magic, and it was a different story. I'd say, how much for those 10 dual lands, and they'd pull out their TCG player and say, well, this one, the lowest comp is this, so I can sell it to you for that and that. So I think the store owners kind of come into it. They were willing to get really good deals below market rate on Pokemon, but Magic is such a staple and been around for so long that they didn't need to give any discount. So it's much harder for us to get. Or if a collection comes into the store, the guys know enough people that will pay them full price that they're not going to even give us a 10% discount. We are running a business here. I can't pay full price for items. So
Right.
it's kind of a bit harder commodity, and Pokemon will get to be that way too. As Pokemon, like if you look at base set unlimited Charizard, we've bought thousands of them over the last 3 years, all for under $300, and now I can't find a single one for under $300. So it kind of just balances out the same way where they just say, the card shops will go, I don't need to sell this for any kind of discount because the demand is so high. So
Right.
Magic is not that way though. The demand in Magic is even still just as high as Pokemon. With Pokemon in a full craze boom, Magic is always going to be high and always has been high.
Yeah. Yeah, the magic market is really interesting because it seems like the collectors and the investors are a little bit different, operate a little bit differently than Pokemon. So that's been really interesting to see. And I mean, of course, it makes sense for you guys because, like what you said in the beginning, you want to ride the wave of Pokemon. Like that's just where the money is going, where the market is going. It totally makes sense. I know some guys in the magic world, they do see at some point in time in the near future that Magic again will kind of do a little bit of an uptick, kind of like how Pokemon is doing right now. So if you can find things that are pretty reasonable, like buy what you got. Like for example, just recently I picked up a sealed booster box of Origins because there are these like kind of Bronze Age, boosters that will probably appreciate in value. Like right now, they seem a little bit undervalued, like the Masters 19, the Origins that I just bought. I mean, which is probably why. I mean, it's not a Bronze Age, but the Winter, the Weatherlight, and then the Exodus, a little bit undervalued from what other people have been saying. So, it's. I mean, Magic is gonna continue to just grow just like Pokemon. And I think there's a lot that Pokemon investors can learn from Magic because they started a little bit earlier and those trends, there are those lessons there. So,
Yeah, and the great stuff's always going to be great. I mean, like, even if there's like, some softening of the market with some of the like stuff, like, I don't know, for example, Royal Assassins and Nightmares and Magic, right? It was a huge card in '93. Like, they were like the same price basically as like dual lands and stuff, but that great stuff really separated itself and never has gone down. Black Lotuses have been a continual uptick for the last 25 years. Same with dual
100%.
lands and same with Moxes. The other stuff is fluctuates based on play and based on a lot of other standards, but that high end stuff just never goes down. And I think it's gonna be the same way with Pokemon. Like the great stuff, the Charizards, the Venusaurs, the Blastoises, and the Pikachus. I don't think they're ever going to go down. I think they're going to be on a steady climb. You might see some drawback of stuff like Gyarados first editions or Zapdos. Selling a Zapdos for us, a Zapdos first edition we sold for $12,000 in July. That just doesn't seem like it's can stabilize itself. But maybe that's the floor now. I mean, maybe that's just where this is all going. But I think that great stuff, that high end, the Blastoise, the Venusaur, the Charizard, I don't think they're ever going to go down. I think they're going to be in a continual growth based on just demand forever. So that's what my hope is.